Hi, hello, my name is Ollie Bliss and this is my channel Book Draw. For those who don't know, I enjoy looking at queer fiction and occasionally I create images out of them. Today I'm doing my own tag. This is the IDAHOBIT tag, which I have created by myself because I've been inspired by the wonderful Anne from Book Your Imagination and Spencer from Common Spence. Both of them recently talked about in their tags about the benefit of doing their own tags and how that can introduce them to a new audience. So I was like, that's a great idea, I'm going to give it a go. So this tag has been created in honor of the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, Intersexism and Transphobia, otherwise known as IDAHOBIT. I wanted to do this tag because I felt like it addresses some of the things which I'm really interested in, but also it's happening really soon, and I thought it might be a good opportunity for everybody to get involved in. The purpose of this tag is not to just shout about all the wonderful queer characters within our community, but it's actually about trying to build a sense of allies. So this is something which I feel is really important within our community, and something that both our community and other areas of marginalised groups, or those, especially in the UK, we can talk about different groups of protected characteristics, which is based on an Equalities Act from 2010. I feel like sometimes when I talk about my community in terms of the LGBT community, we can have a very focused lens, which can sometimes feel like it alienates other groups because we are particularly talking about LGBT issues. So those who sit outside of that framework don't necessarily feel like they can engage with us. But the great thing about this community is it's very intersectional and cuts across all sorts of other protected characteristics, and also those who are heterosexual and cisgendered, they might still know or have people in their lives who are from our community and want to feel included and involved. So hopefully this particular tag gives us all an opportunity to get involved and stuck in. So I'm going to break down the individual letters of the acronym IDAHOBIT and give a starting point which isn't about the LGBTQIA plus community, but instead is about representing IDAHOBIT in a different way. So this is an opportunity for you to source and champion books that you love, which might hit across some of these genders. So I'm going to just get stuck in. So I also just want to say that no matter how big or how small the representation of the LGBTQIA plus community is within these books, feel free to include them. And if you're not able to find a book which represents some inclusion of our voices within the story, that's okay. As long as you're doing the tag and contributing towards it, then you are getting involved in this, and that is something worth celebrating. Because the main hope of this tag is that within the booktube community, we are talking more about representation more broadly, and we are finding intersectional ways of talking about each other's agendas. So I'm hoping to align some of the LGBT-based narratives or characters or people or experiences or authors which can be situated and attached to other broader themes. So hopefully you will feel the opportunity to pick up those books because they align to those wider issues or areas of interest. So I'm hoping that by, instead of talking solely about our community, but talking about representation within other agendas, we can find more common ground with each other. So the first letter, I, Indomitable Spirit. I want you to talk about a book which champions or celebrates a person who has gone through and overcome adversity in whatever way, shape or form, and has come out bolder, greater in some way. They've been able to rise above their situation because they have an irrepressible spirit. The next one is D, for Dynamic Divergence. So this is about someone who acts differently from the status quo, either through thought or acts or behaviour or physicality. A, Age of Aquarius. This is for the dawn of a revolution. This is about those who acknowledge a broken system and, more crucially, are not waiting around for someone else to fix it. This is about flattening pyramids and individuals assuming more power. H, Healing Hearts. For stories which create resolve. This is about those stories where there are restorative justice or a sense of healing and happiness as an outcome. Oh, the open-minded observer. So this is about those outsiders who are able to look at the context in which they're situated in and are able to draw their own conclusions about how they live. It's about individual people raising a consciousness about the lifestyle in which they lead or how they are affected by others around them. B, this is for brave beings. This is about either individuals or groups and communities who have stepped up their game in some way. I, international inspirations. This is for a book which is originating outside of your own country. So any other author who doesn't come from your own country, this is one which has inspired you in some way. Please talk about it and champion it and tell us why you think it's important or great. And T, thoroughly thrilling. So this is about those stories which are focusing on either action or adventure, or of course are a thriller. It could be an epic fantasy, it could be sci-fi, it could really be anything as long as it's got something which is going to be just a really good gritty page turner. If possible, try and find some representation within the book. If it's leading representation as part of the queer community, fantastic. But this is just to excite us all with those books which have great adventurous stories, which will give you a satisfying thrill. And that gives you IDAHOBIT. So this gives you the structure to talk about different book recommendations, which will hopefully ally and celebrate the fact that it is 17th of May for our International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, Intersexism and Transphobia. And then finally just tag some people. Tag a load of people in this in your video so that we can hopefully get a load more people to do this video. I'm going to tag a bunch of people individually. I'll probably contact them through Twitter and whatnot. But basically, if you're watching this video, you are tagged because I want as many people to do this as possible. Let's talk about some great intersectional reads which are going to get us all celebrating and thinking inclusively about the queer community. I will also do this tag myself later on in the month, on the 17th hopefully, as long as I can get my ass into gear. But if you don't do it on the 17th of May, that is okay. It's just a fun tag for people to take part in. And if you are talking about IDAHOBIT, then that is a great contribution and you are being a great ally to a wonderful cause. Let's just not pick on people. Let's not act as nasty individuals to others, and let's try and find ways to be more positive. I hope that this tag is open enough that people can feel like they can contribute towards it. Anyway, this is enough from me on this one. I hope you all take part. And feel free to give recommendations if you are a reader rather than a contributor on BookTube. I am still interested in your views. Okay, take care. Bye. Okay, so I've just written up a really quick list. Apologies if your name's not on this list. You are definitely included in this, but this is also an opportunity just to shout out about different booktubers which are out there, so people can see lots of different channels too. So these are the people that I tag. MTS Books, Mel's Bookland Adventure, Rachel Louise Atkins, Leanne Rose, Charlie Brooks, Jen Gallagher, Chris Vigilante, Capricious Helen, Common Spence, Book Your Imagination, Eric Carl Anderson, Bookie Laura, Span Maid, Ghost Reader, Graham Quedgley, Ink and Paper Blog, Kathy Tryhart, Perpetual Pages, She Gathered Books, T Hags, Todd the Librarian, What Pages Are You On, Sean the Book Manic, Winks and Inks, Bookish Islander, Noah's Chaos, and Hooked on Books. If your name is not on that list, I'm really sorry, but I'm still tagging you anyway. You've watched this video, so basically you're tagged. You have a responsibility to upload a video now for the 17th of May, otherwise you're someone who's completely homophobic. Then just to also reiterate, if you are receiving this tag beyond the 17th of May, feel free to put yourself on it or keep it in your back pocket for next year. It's the IDAHOBIT tag, so you can just do it as and when you want to, but if you want to structure it for the 17th of May, that's going to be great, and I'm going to try and do that myself. We'll see how it goes. Okay, take care. Bye!